And we're back for the last game of today's Team Thrill EOS scouting rounds. We are gonna go to the upper bracket where the two winners of today are gonna face each other in what is going to be a pretty awesome game because we have, of course, the team from seerees against Vounghuard, if that's how you pronounce its name, because I still to this day do not know how to say it correctly.
Still not 100% sure as to how to pronounce the name. Team Series versus Team Vounghuard. Vanguard. We'll just pronounce it however we think it's correct. Both teams with a very strong top laner in Nerea and Safa. Of course, we saw you Djibouti or Velja, or however you want to pronounce it, play a very beastly Lilia game 2 games ago. So I'm intrigued to see if they are gonna let Lilia go through this game, or if they're gonna take it away, perhaps play it themselves. Possibly both teams going for a 1-4 comp, but we'll have to wait and see to get the deets.
I I almost can't imagine the team of Vanguard letting the Lilia through after what is done to poor other team last time with the champion. It was just destruction from start to end. Of course, they had the revenge on in the last game, so they've been okay. But yeah, depending on this draft, we'll see if it's gonna be a stomp again, because the last 3 games all very one-sided. At some point, it just swung in their favor. We still haven't seen a victor. Would love to see that from Gil this game round. So hope that the ban doesn't come true for it. And yeah, just uh, just fun game heading our way. Maybe no Swain ban this time for Luller, because didn't get a chance to use that one last time.
Gonna look out for the Swain pick, Swain ban. Also, really intrigued to see if Graves is gonna come through this time. We know Gale likes to pick that up in the mid lane, but also Fightser likes to play it in the jungle as well. So it is possible they flex that pick this time. If it does not get banned, of course, is the question. On the other side, expecting things like Jin, Samira to be picked or banned. Of course, very standard things these days. Have seen a lot of both of those 80 carries. And Looter plays both. I think Rusty Sniper probably plays both as well. But assuming that if his Jin gets picked, he might go for a misfortune over the Samira in his case.
Yeah, so definite bans to be expected against Vanguard are, in my case, the Camille, the Grace for his flank potential between the jungle and the mid laner, and maybe targeted ban to the AD carry. However, this might be less necessary since last game wasn't maybe an exception, but AD carries don't have as much impact in these games as the jungler and mid laners. At least that is my feeling here.
My take on the game. However, Rusty Sniper did play a good game last time around.
True.
So probably looking to continue that trend of good games during these scouting grounds. Bear in mind also the loser of this game does not fall out of the tournament. The loser of this game plays tomorrow in the semifinals versus the winner of the previous game, which is Team Bayora, who just took down their opponent in the previous game. Looking like the teams are ready here. The lobby is ready to start, and we are in the draft phase here. Gonna look out for these first picks and bans coming out this way. Of course, the Camille, a big contender here to be picked and or banned. Not and, picked or banned. Because both top laners like to play that. We're starting off with a Kale ban, which is just a you're very strong and I don't want to play. And there's the Lydia.
Exactly, Kill was not really what we expected here, because it's not in the champion pools. but Lilia was not gonna even come close to getting through. First Ben coming right up. The Amumu is being taken out, was played during the scouting rounds, and was able, of course, to make the life of Domi miserable in the first game. And yeah, they're breaking my heart at this point. Swain not gonna be seen. Must be something Luller is pretty famous for, because they don't want to risk it. To play against Swain is, of course, a little bit of a niche pick, where you have to know what you need to do in order to do it well, let's say.
And now with these Jin and Samira bans coming out from both sides, I am expecting them to find the misfortune on one side, and as Swain has been taken away from Luller, he might be looking in to go for a Senna or a Varus, which are champions he likes to play. Varus did just get a slight buff. But Rusty Sniper probably going for the misfortune here. Also being hovered, as Graves is also taken away, not in a ban, but in a pick.
Yeah, very smart from them, taking that flex pick away from Vounghuard's comp. Gonna have to look for something different on the mid lane and the jungle. Victor's still open, still haven't seen him come through these games. Kassadin is also still open, was played first game and was a really big menace at the end when he got a few kills in the top side. Wondering if he's gonna take it again, but of course picking Kassadin early in a comp is always risky. Counters are there, so we won't see it come through here. And they're gonna lock in the Kassadin for fights here, probably
Kassadin.
The Kazakhs.
Yikes!
They're probably confident enough to put the Kazakhs against Graves in that matchup.
Yeah, Kazakhs gonna look to roam the woods and the jungles for a red side. Of course, has been fairly strong in this preseason as well, as Safa picks up a Shen for himself. Not something we necessarily expect of him to be playing, but assume that he would like to play that. And now they're hovering onto THRLL, gonna get locked in even. I don't think we've seen an THRLL yet in these scouting grounds. So that's a first.
It's all about the Jin.
It's all about the Jin Samira misfortune
Jin Samira
trio.
misfortune trio games plays. But THRLL, of course, was being picked very much last scouting grounds, I believe. And first pick up here this game. We'll see if Lilith can have a good performance on this champion, who of course still needs to scale a little bit. Sheen has been changed a lot. Also played the Ruined King, so his build path pretty much wrecked, as well as the tier. So we'll see how he is going to do it against that comp. Misfortune, Leona, standard duo, easy synergy with their ultimates. And we're gonna see some mid lane targeted bans now. The Orianna is still open for Bendix, as well as the Syndra, in which he had a pretty good game. To see if he gets any ban towards him.
They are gonna take out Alistar. Red side is gonna ban that towards the supporting role, of course, in the bottom lane blue side. They don't really, they have one frontline at this point, and they're taking away both Alistar and Nautilus, which are both supports that he does like to play, and they are going to be taken out. So Leona is another one he likes to play, has been picked already. So we're looking at something like Rakam, maybe. Janna could be played, but that's kind of a pick at this point, because I mean they could jungle with a tank like a Sejuani, of course, to complete the front line. Sorry, they have the Graves. They could mid lane with a Galio, I guess, to go for the front line.
Well, this is the moment that they have to decide which comp they want to go. They can have a poke peel back comp, or they can have an engage comp, and in that case they really need to make sure that they have the tools to have an engage on them. A lot of the picks have been taken out, as you said, from the side of Smarty. Can't really go for it. Orianna is coming through, but how are you gonna get that ball there? That is the question. Rakan would be a good solution. And if not, they will have to have some sort of disengage tool extra to make sure that the Leona engage cannot get to them. And Braum, yeah, might be able to fill both roles, so would not be a bad pick here.
Honestly, I'm expecting a Thresh. He can get into the enemy team a little bit easier with, of course, the hook to fly into the team of the enemies. Delivering the ball, Shen, of course, with his taunt can do the same. And they do have now a Thresh and a Shen to go for a frontline. Otherwise, it would have been all alone for Shen, which could have been very difficult for him. And now Kassadin looking to be hovered and picked up again. Freygaul had a great performance on Kassadin in the first game today, and is gonna get that again. By the way, we have Nerea on Nico top. Anything we have to say about that?
Nico top, it has been seen in LEC as well, I believe. Not sure if it's the best, especially since the Glacial Augment items have been completely removed, because that was what she was notoriously for, with all the slows, not being able to juke the bind and then just getting completely CC'd by the obnoxious kit that this champion has. So not sure how much power she will be able to output. You've also seen in the past some attack speed AD Nikos coming through, so we'll have to see what Nerea is going to do, but I'm expecting him to have a pretty solid plan for this matchup.
Nerea, of course, looking to win his top lane once again, has the range advantage against Shen. So there is that. Kha'Zix probably gonna be looking to focus on the top and bottom lanes of his team. Kassadin, not really a lot of pressure on Orianna, to say the least. Wants to scale to that level 16 once again. However, last game he had way more kills than we expected him to have before level 16. Who knows what he can do on it this time. On the other side, we have Graves. Where will Graves be focusing his attention on?
Well, we saw last time that Naira totally destroyed the Shen that he was playing against. Now he doesn't have the Camille, so not sure if he has the same tools to do that, but there are options top for Graves, because normally early a ranged champion will push versus a melee champion just because of the pressure that that advantage gives you. And then there's an option for some ganks there when you're pushed far in the lane, you have the Shen taunt with you. Graves, of course, also a little bit of CC with the slows from your smoke field, so maybe you can do something there. Mid lane definitely, Kassadin weak pre-6, needs to be toned down. Bot lane, maybe. If they go in hard, they have a shot, but they have so much damage, and Ezreal, pretty known for not being the strongest carry early, because he has to stack that tier. So it will be hard for him to make an early play there.
We are looking to start this last game of today's scouting grounds between these two teams, Team Seerees and Team Vounghuard. This time I am correct, as opposed to last time. 1 minute left until we enter the rift between the best two teams of the day, arguably, or at least on paper. They are in the winner's bracket for a reason, of course, and the winner of this game goes straight to tomorrow's best of 3 finals. The loser plays against the winner of the loser's bracket, which will then decide the other finalist. Both teams are ready to start the game on the Rift, and we're expecting to have a banger. Very many one-sided games have been played today, all in favor of blue side. But now we have IMK's, and he's just a beast in the top lane. So I'm expecting a very close game between these two guys. Team Seerees and Team Vounghuard ready to battle it out.
We're going into the loading screen. I really wonder how the junglers are gonna match up, because at some point in these games you see one jungler taking an absolute leap from the other jungler, and there is no coming back from it. You've seen it with the Nocturne, you've seen it last game with the Hecarim just totally going insane at some point where nothing to be done about it. And yeah, I want to see if that is going to be the case here, or if they can match each other for a little bit longer. It would be my definite wish. Time to change these names on the blue side. We of course have this time Team Series.
And looking into this champion, sorry, not the champions, like the loading screen, we can, of course, normally we don't see the loading screen in tournaments, but this time we do. And it gives us a little bit more of an insight on the runes that we are gonna be playing with this game. Nothing too crazy. Graves playing with a fleet footwork this game, not going for a phase rush Graves, which sure, I mean, why not? It's a bit interesting, but it's definitely a possibility. And once again, there's an 80 carry with exhaust. We saw previous game both 80 carries running exhaust. This game it's only the THRLL, the Misfortune going for the heal, and of course the exhaust mainly aimed at probably Kha'Zix, who's gonna jump into the backline and try and one-shot the THRLL.
Let's see, as we're heading onto the Rift, game is preparing. And the first two games were really blasting in the jungle. Third game was standard, just the wall of China, everyone on their side, no big deal. But these two teams have made the enemy's lives miserable from the start. So are they gonna do the same here with each other? And who is gonna go on top? Because once we see someone snowballing, it never stops, and that's maybe something that they can show that doesn't have to be the case here.
We are on the Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen, for the last game of today's Scouting Grounds. Team Series versus Team Vounghuard, battling it out for a spot in the finals. The loser comes into tomorrow's semifinals, and it looks like blue side is looking for a small little engage, invade in the top side jungle, but they're not gonna find anyone in these first few seconds of the game.
Graves splashing away with his water gun a little bit in the jungle, just very playful, nothing wrong with that. But eventually they'll start on their own side. Looks like both junglers are gonna start top. Or Graves not really making a choice, but I expect him to do so.
Both junglers starting top side. Top side has been awarded by the guys on the blue team, so they do know Kha'Zix is going to be starting around there. They're still looking to find a late invade. Look at Graves and, sorry, not Nico, and Shen hanging around the red buff there, and on the bottom lane there's also some cheese going on. Nico gonna have to run away there to save the red buff, and it looks like they're gonna be able to steal this red buff away.
And this is exactly what happened at the start of the game with Scary Mode, where his Nocturne was denied, and now they're doing the same here with Fightser this time. On the Graves for Ujibot, will he be the same monster that he was on the Lilia? And Bendix on the wrong side of the wall here.
Flash from Fightser's Kha'Zix comes in behind Bendix. He was on the wrong side of the wall. Bendix clearly not reading the situation completely correctly. Look at the damage from Graves here. Has the red buff stacked onto both Kha'Zix, and Kassadin is gonna have to respect the isolation damage from Kha'Zix here. He's gonna do quite some damage. Flash Leona comes in. Not gonna find the scene.
Good move from Alex there to go to the river and pressure them a little bit, because could have been very tricky if Graves got the slow off with the red buff again. But flash for flash, and jungler without flash is good for the pressure, because those ganks are a little bit less scary now. So well played by the red side to avoid that disaster, because they of course already have to give up the buff. The top side don't want to let that escalate, as we've seen before.
What are we expecting out of these lanes? I mean, Nico should win early on. Same for Oriana. What is bot lane gonna be like?
Bot lane, of course, in favor of the red side at this point. Misfortune and Leona have a better kit early on without the items needed to do damage, because they just proc each other's abilities. See here a little skirmish, the ignite coming in very early on, which gives them the win in a trade. THRLL also playing with the exhaust, so an all-in is dangerous.
This is a re-engage here by Melex. Kha'Zix is part of the fight. Ignite, sorry, comes down on Ruler this time. Flame Flash almost finds it there. The exhaust comes down. 1 HP first blood is for Luler on the THRLL. What a crazy, weird fight. I have no idea how that happened.
The death sentence right in the kisser of Rusty Sniper, and it gives them the first blood eventually, which was very, very close because they went so low, but a little bit too deep as we've seen before, and yeah, that hands the money over to the blue side on top of their successful invade. So yeah, that is a too good place by them. Let's see how the red side can cope with that, because of course they do have that late game insurance with the Kassadin, so if they're losing early game it's not that abnormal, because he shouldn't be able to pressure much in his lane now, so everything around the mid lane is easier for Graves to invade on. But saying that, Melex is searching for a kill mid.
Leona with roam to mid lane. Bendix does not have flash, hardly any mana, but does eventually get out, and now Nerea gets taunted. Needs to watch out, and the aftershock picks up the kill onto Nerea, and the guy who we thought would have to win this game for red side gives up the first fight in his lane.
Yeah, we thought he had a big plan with the Nico, but eventually he just gets solo killed by Zaffa with the oldest trick in the book, just the taunt under the turret, and yeah, it gives him enough for that lane. Of course, is a bit CS behind, so that that does something for him. But we'll see if it changes anything about the pace of that lane when he gets back. He goes for the Mercury threats, will negate some of that CC, but not as effective as you would be in an AD matchup where you can buy the Niantabi, so still gonna take a lot of damage from those auto attacks.
And I would like to touch a tiny little bit on Oriana's early game item. Started off with a Cull and then went for a Tear, but of course the Cull and the Dark Seal into the Tear. An interesting early choice to go for those items on Oriana in my opinion.
Bendix is definitely going for a very scale heavy build to maybe match Kassadin, who is also scaling, but eventually he will overpower Oriana if it gets to that point. But he's probably trying to increase the 2 item spike that Oriana can have. And the Cull is not a bad option, because Kassadin usually plays with the fleet footwork, with the pots, very hard to poke out of lane, so you might as well do the farm fest yourself as well, because much kill pressure without huge bot is not gonna happen there. So I can understand the choice that he's going for.
Jabota with the steal here onto the little Krabby boy, where Shen's dodge field is of course not going to be able to dodge any damage from Nico's little bubble that procs 3 times if he's the champion consecutively. He's going to have a little bit of a problem there. Yes, he picks up the first kill, but he's still behind more than 30 CS. And if we think about 13, 14 CS per kill, he's behind 2 kills. But once again, he goes deep onto Nerea here, who returns the damage.
Well, we can look at the gold at the moment, and he's 400 gold behind his counterpart, so if he gets another kill, yeah, then he's equal, but probably not gonna fall for the same trick twice. In the top lane, meanwhile, Jabota just forcing Fighter out of his own jungle, definitely putting the pressure on, and Young is moving, maybe he's in trouble now.
Stand United comes through, Nerea is gonna get picked up there ultimate was juked and Gayul is part of the fight. Now Rift Walks goes wide, Fighter is gonna go very deep, needs to use his flash there. Graves is level 6, Kha'Zix was level 4, now gets level 5, Graves does get picked up and it's a double kill for Kassadin. It's the same story as the first game. Gayul picking up early kills on Kassadin. You don't want to give this guy kills on this champion.
Double kill pre-10 minutes of the game. That is so wrong for the blue side. This is absolutely not what you want to happen, and it's happening, as you said, again. Geol promises to be a strong Kassadin again. Meanwhile, Bendix just silently farming, and yeah, of course you are an Orianna who should technically be able to push the wave faster and pressure Kassadin that way, but you see he roamed, he got 2 kills, and the CS is basically still equal, so didn't hurt him that much, so Gil playing a really solid game.
He knows what he's doing, or at least so it seems, and now Kassadin with those 2 kills gonna find a 400 gold lead over Orianna, as the farm is basically dead even in this mid lane. And at this point, yes, blue side is ahead by 1 kill. The gold is however dead even, and they have the scaling Kassadin with 2 kills. So at this point my money is on a red side, but we'll have to wait and see as the game progresses.
That Narea is not having the best game, however he's going very deep against the Shenhao and being able to win the trades by weaving that passive in between his skills. So much damage on him.
A lot of return damage from Nico there, finding the trade to even winning the trade eventually on Shen after he had engaged it. Now the pings come in on top lane. There's a lot of people here trying to find a Rhea. A lot of focus on Nico, but also Kassadin and Kha'Zix are part of the party here. Kha'Zix, I think he leveled up his Vorpal spikes first, but they're not going to be able to find any kills for the time being.
And they definitely do not want to give Narea the chance to take over a game as he has done before. 0-2 at the moment, but a lot of CS, so not out of the game yet. Meanwhile, because of the roam of Spark to the top lane, gives Lunar a lot of pressure and not being able to take a lot of the CS that's under the tower. But doesn't seem like they have the strength to dive him, because he has that exhaust to pop if it would be needed.
Yep, the exhaust, talked about it a bit earlier. He does have it to peel for himself a little bit more on top of the Thresh peel, on top of his flash, and on top of his arcane shift, of course, so should be fairly safe in this game, in the upcoming fights, upcoming laning phase, as the second Drake of the game is going to be picked up any moment. Now both teams hanging around here. Kha'Zix gonna look for the engage onto Graves, not gonna be found. The hook lands onto him. Aftershock from Thresh is procced, of course. Now Stand United is gonna come through. Fighter is there. The Stand United comes through at the last second. Shen is part of this fight. Now Gayul goes real low, has some Rift Walk and flash out of there. A great taunt flash by Shen to find the kill. Eventually was Orianna who picked that up, but now the exhaust comes through. Lunar has to flash over the wall. He's pretty safe. Migo coming in, but due to the ultimate letting her stand still for a second, does not find the damage onto Bendix anymore. And by the way, we do not have a Nerea is of course also picked up here, but we do not have a Mountain Rift this game. I was not able to find my words there. Was not able to find the Mountain Rift this game. What is gonna be a Ocean or Infernal? Which one do we want?
Well, they're both really great souls, so it will be a treat for any team that can pick them up. Meanwhile, Gil still chasing Bendix in the jungle, now just switching target. And he's gonna have to watch out, because Lular is on his way for a sneaky little kill.
And Lular is not only on his way, he also just picks it up.
What is this game?
Why is Rusty Sniper here? I have no idea what he's doing. He has no mana, he's on the wrong side of the map. He has no team to cover him, and Shen just easily picks up the kill there.
A small recap, because the fighting didn't stop for 5 minutes here. It started out with red side being totally outnumbered at Drake. They only had 2 people there. Sorry, blue side being totally outnumbered. 2 people there. It was Jabot and Smarty there. They getting caught out, but then the Stand United comes in from Zafa. And he totally turns it around, because you think, okay, the target is already dead, he's alone, but they keep cleaning up from that point, and you see they have grown in power from that point, and they're not afraid to fight red side anymore. They're like, go and get it, Nera, you're not gonna carry this game, we're gonna clean you up, and same goes for the bot side.
Nerea gets flash flayed into the hook, they're not able to move at all now. Safa going really low, the shield gets procced, it's not gonna be enough, and it's another kill for Kassadin. Yes, he has 2 deaths to his name as well, but he especially has 3 kills to his name, which of course is very fun for him. And well, meanwhile, Oriana, Dark Seal, 7 stacks. Gonna be able to scale quite a lot as well if she continues to play as she is doing right now.
See, Bendix took it a little bit easy in the laning phase, but in that team fight did so much work with the Oriana that has been scaling quite but steady. 3-0 as well as Luller, so the carries do have the gold to do their job at this point. And the only threat that is shining in their face now is that Kassadin, that has a few early kills picked up and is okay on the curve. But Oriana 30 CS ahead and is also good, so it's not the biggest problem in the world as long as they can get their advantages in the fight as they have been doing now, and don't let the game slip out of control, and definitely don't let it take too long to finish, because that's of course the trap. Level 16 Kassadin, doesn't matter how the game is going, he will be an enormous problem for you.
And at this point, wow, that's where the, okay, sure, nope, that's where the damage is. 4-0 and 1 Oriana, meanwhile finding another extra stacks on the Dark Seal. But that damage was pretty crazy, as we do get a pause. A 0-5 and 1 Nerea top lane. Bear in mind that Domi is no longer in the tournament, and he won last weekend with Nerea in his team, who then of course won as well. Nerea not looking too great at this point, and so it could be possible that Domi is out and Nerea in the losing bracket. That would make it a lot more interesting for the upcoming games.
It is also looking very grim for his pick now, because the Nico top, we had our questions at the start of the game, like, does he have a big plan? He was bullying the Shen, but he died 1v1 and he's being picked up left, right and center by the blue side at this point. So when is this champion gonna do what he has to do? You of course always have that utility and that CC with the Nico, which you can use to your advantage in the comp that they have. But they're really gonna have to play the stall game. Okay guys, wait, we have strong scalers in the end, we have the Kassadin, just let him do his thing. Don't let the snowball that is happening now for the blue side go out of hand. Maybe try to get some picks if possible, like this.
Now Djibouti gonna go in for the invade, but is likely gonna get picked up here. Might feel the burn from the ignite. No, it's gonna be the bullet time picking up the kill, and now Rusty Sniper is being left completely alone by his team. Safa finding the AD carry of the enemies right there. Now he's being left alone by his team as they take the popcorn, but look at the damage. Safa picking up a double kill. It's Nerea and his support running away from a top laner who had to play an unplayable, unbearable matchup and gets a triple kill in this fight. Safa, what are you doing?
This must feel so good for him at this point, having that damage from the Sunfire Aegis, just doing so much work in those fights with the Stand United. They're just dropping this unkillable dude that does so much damage to your team. And how are you gonna cope with that at this point? Because the mid game, yeah, at this point Kassadin is not gonna Shrek the Shen directly. And Misfortune, after the bullet time has been used with the lethality build, you do not have the continuous damage to kill this tank. So the only one that's left is Nerea, and he has been focused down hard this game. So yeah, that's a good spot to be in if you're Zephyr at this point. You just ult, you kill everyone happy except for red side, of course.
Yeah, Nerea at this point 0-6-3, not having a impact on this game whatsoever. They're gonna have to wait for Gayul to find his level 16 and pick up the game for himself. Of course, Fighter, meanwhile, 3-1-3 Kassadin, finishing the Eclipse as well. He is going to be able to possibly take his team through the mid game at this point in time, and hopefully for long enough. Solar Flare is gonna come out eventually. Sonya's comes through onto Thresh, gonna use his box. Flay comes out as well. The Root, meanwhile, onto Graves, which means he cannot be part of this fight. And now it looks like they are gonna be moving towards the Dragon for a first Drake for red side.
I want to do a fast sync because I think you're a little bit behind. I'm at 80, 30, 31.
We're fine, I just caught up with you as the pickup comes through. Again, Lure gets shut down there by Gayu. Safa now going hard. Of course, this is the guy who picked up the triple kill in the previous fight. So they are gonna run the heck away from him. And it's not going to be the red side picking up this first Drake for them. It's gonna be blue side picking up the third Drake for them this game and putting them on soul point for Ocean Soul.
Yeah, that's super scary because Ocean Soul is what they need to end this game pretty early on, because it means that they're not gonna lose any more fights up till Kassadin maybe reaches level 16. It puts them in a safe spot. So in 5 minutes they're gonna force their hand into entering the pit of doom, where Zaffa will be waiting with his arms wide open for them to get slapped. The question is, how are they gonna cope with this? Gule in the side lane is definitely a good answer, giving him all those solo XP and money, because he is the guy that's gonna have to do it for them. But he's getting clutched now between Graves and Orianna. Is he gonna be able to escape this?
Orianna, Kassadin going really low, taking quite a lot of burst. Orianna's gonna shield. Shockwave finds the kill onto Kassadin, and he's not gonna be able to survive that one. Gets completely bursted. He's still 4-3-2. He has finished his Leandri's Anguish and Seraph's Embrace. And of course time is ticking on that level 16 Kassadin, which should be arriving in, well, 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, he felt safe having of course the Rift Walk available, but the positioning of Bendix and Djibouti made sure that he could not escape. Just a free pickup, 6-0 Orianna. Yep, a lot of damage coming out of this mechanical ball lady at this point. We've seen all the balls these games. Syndra, Orianna, keeps going, doing it very well as well. Yep.
Orianna 6-0-4, definitely a force to be reckoned with at this point in time. So red side is gonna have to try and slow down this game, put Kassadin in a side lane, Nico in the side lane, go for a 1-3-1 at this point, and hope that Kassadin can hit level 16 before blue side actually finishes the game.
The Kha'Zix pick, it can be strong. You just need to find the targets. It's not easy in this game as well, because when I play Kha'Zix, it just doesn't work. Can't fight it. No one is ever isolated. Makes me cry every night. Doesn't work. But Fighter 4-2 is an okay spot to be in, and you see that he has evolved his ultimate early on, and I believe his Q as well. So does not have the reset potential at this point to do the hoppity hop.
The hoppity hop coming through. Herald, of course, was picked up earlier by blue side. They're gonna be using that on the bottom lane turret. Popped it slightly too early and losing a charge there on a basically no HP turret. But they are gonna be able to get another charge down here. And at this point, red side is getting pressured quite a lot. Is there something they can do to turn the game around at this point in time?
Well, basically not get caught in the mid lane. That is a good start, and now of course they are getting hooked, and that is not where you want to be.
The hook onto Leona, which is gonna have her see the grave once more. Shockwave also finding the kill onto Rusty Sniper eventually, and yeah, we can talk all about what they should do or what they could do to actually stall and win the game, but if they of course do the basically opposite of what they could or should do, it's gonna be really difficult for them. And also Graves picking up another kill onto Nico, not having the best game of his life.
And up till now they were stalling pretty well on the red side. They were like, okay, we're not gonna try to fight, we're just gonna hold it, left, right, center, okay, the Rift Herald gets charged, but it's not bad, and then suddenly mid, they get caught 3 in a row. That is of course a problem if the blue side can just keep snowballing like that right at the start of the Ocean Soul. It's gonna spawn in 30 seconds now. It's not a good spot to be in, because you need to contest this. If they have Ocean Soul, then it's basically over. What you want to do now is maybe send Pfizer in for a Dream Steal, try to get a pick with Vision, but it's so hard for them. It's all on Gyul, and he still needs 3 more levels to basically do what he has to do.
The engage from Leona gonna try and come out here. Great play there. It's not the engage that we're looking for, and the pick has been found. They are not playing this slow enough. Orianna gonna find a lot of damage onto Kassadin. Is gonna be enough? No, the Kassadin Rift Walk is not gonna be enough to pick up the kill, and it's a shutdown eventually from Misfortune on to Orianna. Here is Nerea gonna try and continue this fight. Finds a double kill for Misfortune eventually, while in the bottom lane Kha'Zix and Graves are battling it out between the two of them. Safa, of course, still alive, being very tanky. Finds another taunt flash there, picking up another kill for himself, and this looks like it's gonna be Ocean Soul for blue side, which is gonna make the Shen even more difficult to kill than he already is.
There is no damage on Safa at all. They do not care about Rusty Sniper at the moment. He has the collector, but I don't think he'll be collecting anything soon. However,
Graves.
maybe the Graves? Nope.
Gets engaged on. Bullet time does not do enough damage. How does that not go through the Graves at this point? The shutdown there for Kassadin. This could be good. Safa finding the pick eventually onto Kassadin. Now Leona is in trouble. Gonna get picked up here as well. Once again, red side finds a kill, blue side finds 2. It's always in favor of blue side this game, and it keeps looking more and more grim for red side, but they do have the ticking time bomb, that is Castle.
Safa is not toning down. He's just a very mean ninja, ready to take on everyone, and I must really admire the play that red side made for the Drake, because they did get some pickup kills in a moment where it should not happen, and yeah, this is just the
sad.
Yeah, the desperation play. You need to do something to stop them from breaking open your base, but yeah, you just get that sentence by Smarty there, and then it's over. So I believe at this point blue side really needs to make a big mistake for red side to come back, because I fear Kassadin is just not gonna be able to reach his level 16, or just too late. That's my fear for this game at this point.
It might be right on time, or just a little too late for the guys of Team Vounghuard to find the turnaround they are trying to look for during this game. Ocean Soul is already on the board for blue side. They've picked up the Baron as well. Now Graves is gonna look for a kill onto Kassadin. The damage is more than enough to find the kills onto him. And look at this Graves. The death sentence is not gonna connect. They do have a pink ward there, but Kha'Zix is gonna be able to survive to live another day.
Trying to hold their tower for dear life, but this one they are going to lose. Will they defend their base? Because yeah, at what point are you gonna say, is it enough? Is it here at the nip, or is it at your nexus? Not really sure if you want to give this up, but can you even do anything to defend this? The tower is already gone. They will take the nip, and I feel like blue side is gonna take it slow. They're just gonna take all the inhibs first. They're not gonna overstay. You have the Shen that can come to you in the split push, and they're just slowly but steadily mangling the team of Vanguard.
It's not looking very great. Safa, meanwhile, being able to basically 1v2 the Kassadin and the Kazakhs.
Strongest member
At this
gone.
point, the strongest member, yep, on red side is gone. And once again, blue side with a huge win. It's probably going to be, this is the last desperation play from red side. Leona is gonna get picked up. It's a double kill for Great. Yikes! I mean, that's not even fun. That's not funny. That's not fun. I mean, come on. Graves picking up an insane one-shot, basically, onto Nico. Of course, running the Collector. I think it might have been on cooldown, not 100% sure. But red side not finding the turnaround they needed. Kassadin not finding level 16. For the second game in a row, Kassadin not finding level 16. But last time he won, and this time, well, he didn't.
Seerees picking up the W in pretty overwhelming fashion. At some point, they just took it over, and yeah, Safa, shout out to him. He took the one-on-one kill on Nerea, and at the end he just kills them 1v2. Amazing performance of the Shen. Means they're going straight to the final of the scouting grounds tomorrow, and yeah, for Vanguard they will have to face off Biora tomorrow at 7 in the final of the loser bracket. So if they can beat them there, they have a shot at revenge against Series, and maybe they have another plan on their sleeves, or Biora takes it home, and then they'll be able to prove themselves. But don't know if you have any closing words, Jasper, for today.
We will have to see what it's all like tomorrow. Anyways, we want to say thank you to everybody to tune in to today's scouting grounds. We hope to, of course, see you back here tomorrow, same place, same time. Team THRLL's Twitch, 7 o'clock in the evening, because in the morning, well, nobody's gonna be awake. So, haha. And we hope to see you there. GG, well played also to everybody who played, all 4 teams, all 20 players. And we will be starting the day off tomorrow with Team Vanguard versus Team Biora for the semifinals. And the winner of that game will be playing versus Team Series, who have been proven to be very, very, very strong. Thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.
Stay safe.